Gruesome twosome just can't catch a break. Sussex snubbed yet again by Hollywood power players.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the King YouTube channel.
Hello, my friends. I hope that you all are having a wonderful weekend. So, I came across yet another tabloid article about the gruesome twosome. This one is coming to us from the National Enquirer magazine, and the headline is Clooney's Clobber Harry and Meghan. So, of course, I had to read it. Harry and Meghan are so desperate to ingratiate themselves with the Hollywood power players, but they are falling flat on their faces every single time. I mean, first, they tried really hard to be besties with Oprah. It looks like that relationship has fizzled out. Who else is on this very long list? There was Tyler Perry, but after they were abusive to his staff, he doesn't want to associate with them. Who else? We've got Ellen and Portia. Maybe Ellen and Portia are still using them for their own selfish ends, who knows? But we've also got the Obamas, who they tried to be friends with. Obviously, the Obamas want nothing to do with them. They tried to be friends. Well, Meghan supposedly was friends with Serena Williams, but we haven't heard anything about that. Anyway, it really looks like they are going down the list of Hollywood celebrities, and they are ticking them off one by one, trying their best to be friends with them and being rejected every single time. And now, thanks to the National Enquirer's reporting, it looks like we can officially add the Clooneys to this list. As you'll remember, Meghan made it a point to invite George and Amal Clooney to their 2018 wedding. Now, at the time, we knew they didn't even know them. Apparently, somebody asked George Clooney if he even knew Meghan, and he said no. Apparently, at the wedding, somebody asked George, "How do you know Meghan?" And he simply said, "I don't." So even back then, he was not going to lie and claim that he knew the Duchess of Duplicity just because he and Amal had gone to their wedding. And as to why he and Amal attended the wedding in the first place, well, I mean, that's a pretty easy explanation. The two of them, there is a good chance actually that George at some point will enter politics. That has been a rumor for a long time now. And it makes sense that George and Amal would want to be in good with the royal family. Now, at the time of Harry and Meghan's wedding, of course, we didn't know what was going to happen. We didn't see Megxit coming, or maybe some people did. But anyway, at the time, we thought they were going to be working royals. So basically, when George and Amal accepted the invitation to Harry and Meghan's wedding, they were networking. That is something they know how to do very, very well. And since Megxit happened, since Meghan and Harry have been on the outs with the royal family, George and Amal have made it very clear who they're siding with. For example, they showed up to support the King's Prince's Trust Awards back in May, and we haven't heard anything about them doing anything with the gruesome twosome for a very long time now. Now, I think Amal did show up for that baby shower that was held for Meghan when she was pretending to carry Archofficial, but that was basically 5 years ago. And now we've got this great article in the Enquirer saying Clooney's clobber Harry and Meghan. So the story reads, royal outcast Prince Harry and Meghan are humiliated and enraged after being cavalierly snubbed by former pals George and Amal Clooney and missing the A-lister star-studded gala, say sources. Well, I'm not sure they were ever pals to begin with, but I do believe that Harry and Meghan are enraged. I can imagine some dishes are flying about right now in La Casa Montecito. And even though recently Harry and Meghan were in New York, oh well, they weren't invited to the Clooney shindig. So we learned that Harry and Meghan were forced to watch from 3,000 miles away as George and Amal reigned supreme at the Albie Awards in New York, held by the Clooney Foundation for Justice. So even though Harry and Meghan are trying to be these famed humanitarians, they just aren't getting invited to stuff, so unfortunately they're not able to really show their philanthropic strength. I mean, after all, the only thing stopping those two from giving all their time and money to charitable causes is that the invites are just not rolling in for them. If they're not invited to stuff, how on earth are they going to pledge anything? I mean, if nobody knows about the charitable work they're doing, if nobody knows about the donations, then what is the point of doing anything? Because, see, we've got to remember, for Harry and Meghan, charity is all about that sweet, sweet PR. It has nothing to do with actually helping people. George and Amal, on the other hand, no, I think they really do try to help people, and that's a good reason they are staying far, far away from the toxic twosome. Anyway, we also learned there were plenty of A-listers invited to George and Amal's event. Harry and Meghan, not so much. And then, according to a trusted source, of all the snubs they've had to deal with since their move to Hollywood, this is probably the most hurtful. George and Amal went from being their wedding guests and trusted confidants to totally ghosting them. It's a huge kick in the teeth and a massive embarrassment they can't really explain or wrap their heads around. Really? They can't explain it? They can't wrap their heads around it? Are those two serious? I know they're not the brightest crayons in the box, but surely even they can see that it's their nasty behavior that turns people off. Do they really not understand that the cause of all their misfortune is their own bad behavior? That with every truth bomb they release, they lose more friends? And come on, how were George and Amal trusted confidants when at their wedding George said that he didn't even know the two of them? What? These are their trusted confidants? But I guess for a couple of shallow people like them who don't understand what real friendship looks like, at least that's true for Megan. I think Harry did have friends, but not anymore. But for somebody like her, I guess yes, someone who agrees to show up to your wedding, that means they're a trusted confidant because she doesn't know the true meaning of the term. I like this insider they're quoting in the article, though, because then the insider says, "Truth is, George and Amal don't have time for Meghan and Harry's drama or fakery." Well, of course they don't. The gala would have been a dream event for the two, but George and Amal knew only too well the circus that follows them would have ruined it for others. Well, of course, because everywhere they go, they are sure to bring a bunch of drama with them. I mean, it's in New York after all. Remember, the two of them are not safe in New York. They might get caught up in a near-catastrophic paparazzi car chase again. Oh, but then the insider goes on saying it's baffling to the Sussexes because they've never done anything to warrant this sort of treatment. What are they talking about? Are they really that delusional? Okay, so let me get this straight. Even after all the lies they have told, even after the way they absolutely trashed Harry's family and Meghan's family for that matter, even after they made up an entire story to try to get sympathy about a near-catastrophic car chase in New York, they still cannot understand why people don't want to associate with them. Okay. But that is exactly what this source is trying to claim. As far as they can see, reports the source, it's come totally out of left field. George and Amal were at their wedding. Harry and Meghan considered them real friends and part of their inner circle. Guys, just because they showed up to your wedding for networking purposes does not mean they were ever in your inner circle. I mean, they claim that they didn't even know you when they came to the wedding. So how does that equal members of your inner circle? Boy, your inner circle must be pretty big. Harry and Meghan should understand that just because they were desperate to be friends with Amal and George doesn't mean that Amal and George felt the same. This article also claims that Harry and Meghan even came close to choosing the Ocean's 12 hunk as one of Archie's godfathers. All right, first of all, why does Archie need more than one godfather? Second of all, why are you going to choose somebody who doesn't even know you to be the godfather of your child? I mean, that's not going to make him want to be friends with you. You know that, right? But of course they don't know that because the two of them live in a fantasy world. I mean, how delusional can a couple of people be? And I understand that for Harry it's a little different because as a member of the royal family, he had no trouble making friends with these powerful people like George and Amal. As a member of the royal family, yes, A-listers did want to be his friend. Meghan, on the other hand, no, she's just always been a desperate wannabe. She's always been trying to climb up that social ladder and trying to make friends with powerful people who want nothing to do with her. This is a pattern of hers. For Harry, maybe he really is surprised, but this should come as no surprise for Meghan Markle. And at this point, I think Meghan should really stop trying to call people because the insider claims now they can't even get him to return a phone call. They've called and sent messages and even gifts. Oh, like banana bread? But they've been totally blamed. At this point, they've given up trying, but that doesn't make it hurt any less. Well, I hope they really do give up trying, and I hope they consider giving up trying on many other aspects of their lives as well. And you, what do you think about the gruesome twosome and their attempt to be Hollywood power players? Please let me know your opinion below in the comments section. I encourage you to like and share this video with anybody else who would enjoy it. And before you go, if you didn't already,
please don't forget to subscribe to our The King YouTube channel to get more updates in the future. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a lovely evening, and we'll be back to see you tomorrow. Bye. I love you all.